It took less than 24 hours for the engineering gameplay to be leaked and for the NDA to be broken. You were all shocked, I am sure. I have the footage of the leaked engineering gameplay, if you can call it that, playing in the background. I'm not going to pointlessly overanalyze every little detail, but I'm going to give you my impressions, my opinions, and my concerns about what I've seen with this. My first impression, and this will lead into a concern, is that while this is visually impressive, I question how this would really play within the game. A question I find myself often asking whenever CIG implements something is, why? What does this contribute? What does this enhance? What is this going to do to make the game better? I have said long ago that I have felt that engineering, when and if it does come out, will simply be a series of annoying tasks and chores that players have to do, and are going to give it a sophisticated name, like engineering. But ultimately, in practice, it would be something that is tedious and a hindrance to any form of high-tier or competitive play. And I do not mean that from a point of view of something silly like esports, but I'm talking from a point of view of doing anything meaningful or challenging, whether it be PvE or PvP content. If the idea behind engineering is to reel the power in for large ships that are supposed to be multi-crew, I would ask you this. How many of those multi-crew ships are actually incredibly powerful? What power is there that needs to be reeled in? You may mention the Solo Idris, but the Solo Idris is really just a large chunk of HP that is more of an annoyance and a hindrance than it is something effective. What about the ships that are below the Idris? Is the Corsair and Constellation a PvP or PvE powerhouse that requires some form of minigame, which is a series of tasks and chores? Does it require something like that to reel in their immense power for the balance of the game? Are single-seat ships currently living under the tyranny of multi-crew ships flying around and oppressing them and stopping them from getting anything done? Are turrets so overwhelmingly powerful that we need an engineering position to help keep that power in check as to be a trade-off for the immense power and accuracy that these turrets have? Are hammerheads flying throughout space and swatting light fighters out of the sky and holding down Hathor or keeping elite fighter pilots at bay? And is engineering the only real solution to bring those hammerheads in check? The answer, of course, is no. No to all of this. So then I ask you, what is the purpose of multi-crew? Is it for RPG LARPing? Is it so that somebody can live their fantasy of saying full power to shields, and then another guy replies, "I'm giving her all she's got, Captain"? Because that seems like the only real purpose and benefit of the engineering gameplay that we have seen. Single-seat ships aren't going to have to deal with this nonsense. They're not going to have to endure this. They are presumably going to continue to fly about the verse and attacking everyone and everything with impunity, while multi-crew ships have to jump through hoops and put out fires and play with fuses in order to just make their ship viable. If engineering was a force multiplier or an enhancement to an already effective class of ships, I would be all for this, and a lot of my concern would be alleviated. But alas, that is simply not the case. I'm almost starting to think that SIG hates the idea of multi-crew ships, and would much rather just continue to develop fighters and focus on hotshot single-seat content. It's not all doom and gloom. I am happy that you can repair these components from the inside. I would hope that this would somehow extend the life of multi-crew ships and allow them to endure and outlast their single-seat counterparts. But with more single-seat ships, quote-unquote, punching above their weight, the prospect of enduring their firepower and power creep is something that I am having a hard time envisioning. My final concern is, how does all of this fit and mesh within the realm of an MMO game? Are multi-crew ships going to be handled functionally like some sort of mobile dungeon where you have certain players fulfilling certain roles within the ship in order for it to function? Instead of a tank and healer, you have a pilot, gunner, and engineer. Will that be the prerequisite for any and all multi-crew ships to work? And if so, how much power do you get for filling those stations? And at what point is it better for me just to bring 3 individual fighters as opposed to a pilot, gunner, and engineer in a single ship? I think it is very important for you to ask yourself these questions, to stop and think about how this will work within the realm of the game, from a gameplay point of view. Not from a LARPing or fantasy point of view, but how it will work in everyday practice as the game is played. Not how it is played in the future, because we've been hearing the future for a very long time now, but how it will be played in the immediate future and the present. What do you guys think? Is this good or bad? How do you feel about it? Leave your comments down below, and thank you for watching.